Hello, welcome to Jason the Millennial. I am Jason, and I am here with three of my friends as we do our third album exchange, basically, we've done on the channel. I've got Nick from Nick Townsend 505.
Hello.
Got Bryer from Bryer's Music Showcase. And Adam
Hi.
from What the Gym. Coming all the way from England. Yeah, so we this is basically third time, second time for Nick, I guess. Third time we've done it on the channel where we've recommended a album to each other and have listened to all four albums and are giving our reviews of all four albums. And it's just a great chance to get to talk about an album that you really like that maybe other people don't know that well, and kind of give it a review, give it a top whatever you want to do, rank every song, rank top 5, rank top 3, and then give a score anyways. And we'll keep track of the score, I guess, see how the average. Usually I can't do it because I'm on my phone, so hopefully somebody can do the math and figure out the average.
I'll do the math again.
Okay, good. Do the math for me so I don't have to try to figure it out.
That's Nick's job. It's Nick's job doing that.
Yes.
Yeah, Nick's usually the one to do that.
I'm the one who does the math.
We'll get to that pretty soon. Yeah, so I guess we'll just get on to the first album that we're going to review. And this is the album that I brought to this album exchange. And I'll talk about first, but it is called Renaissance by the Association. As you see there, you got the 6 members of the association there. Pretty simple as it is in the mid 60s. Pretty simple album cover there. But yeah, this is one I really enjoyed. I first heard this album a couple years ago when I was putting together my top 100 favorite albums list. And the Association was one of those bands that I really liked from the 60s period. It's part of basically the folk rock period of the mid 60s. It's I say folk rock. It's really more pop music, I would say, from this period. Because you had the British invasion hitting really hard, and then American groups were coming up with these great folk rock groups like this. And so they had some hits on the radio. This is their second album, actually, The Renaissance. Their first album, Along Comes Mary, had 2 really big hits on it, Cherish and Along Comes Mary. And then the third album has 2 pretty big hits on it as well, Never My Love and Wendy. This album really doesn't have any big hits on it. And Birthday, yeah. is their 4th album. And I've heard the first 4 albums so far. And so far, I'm really enjoying what I'm hearing out of the Association. And out of the 4, this is actually my favorite out of them, which is maybe a little strange because it doesn't have any hits on it. But yeah, I think overall it's just a solid. Every song I think is pretty darn good to great on it. And yeah, so when I was listening to some albums to put on my 100 favorite albums list at the time, I came across this album and just loved it. And it is in my top 100 albums list. And it's pretty low on the list. If I do the list again, it's going to go much higher because I've been listening to it quite a bit lately. And I absolutely love this album. And Association is not a really well-known group, so I really wanted to, put this album out there because I think more people should listen to the Association because no one ever talks about them. They're not one of the really giant groups of this period of time, but they have what I love. Breyer's having some trouble, I think. It seemed like he had some delays or something.
It's always one of us. It'll be my turn next time.
Usually me, but sometimes Bryer. Hopefully he'll be back here. And yeah, I think he might be back.
There we go.
There we go.
It's one of those days.
I know. What I love about the Associations, what I love about the folk rock movement, is they have great harmonies. I absolutely love the harmonies. Some of the best harmonies. If you know me, I love groups that have great harmonies. And they just write really fun melody, really great melodies. And it's just one of those really, to me, it's one of those great pop records of this period. I was just thinking, like I love, Mr. Tambourine Man by the Byrds around this period. And I love Buffalo Springfield comes around this period. And I love all three groups because of their harmonies and great melodies. And I love I love that this band and this album, they have multiple singers, multiple people take the lead here. And they play a lot of different instruments. They throw in like flutes and all kinds of stuff. I love the overall sound of that. I think the songs are some very good, catchy songs here. But just go through some of the first song, really great. I'm the One, as you're saying. I just love I'm the One. I don't know, just love his vocal delivery on that. Members of You, one of my favorite on the album. The chorus is so good. The harmonies are amazing. Like I absolutely love that album. I mean that song on the album. Songs in the Wind. Again, another just really catchy pop song. I think a lot of great harmonies there. I'm just kind of going through some of my favorites here. You Hear Me Call Your Name. I think another really great kind of catchy song. Great harmonies. Another Time, Another Place. Love this song. Another favorite of mine on the album. Another just great, again, great harmonies, great melody there. And then No Fair at All. No Fair at All should have been a huge hit. I keep saying this. This was one of the biggest discoveries I've ever had, discovering a new album for the first time and going through it and hearing No Fair at All and going, oh my gosh, this is like one of my favorite songs. Like I love this song. I put this on my playlist and I listen to it a ton. It's just so soothing. You got that nice flute there. And it's one of the best harmonies I've ever heard. And like I said, I put it up there with some of the best harmony songs of all time. Just that No Affair at All. And they kind of elongate the all at the end. And No Fair at All. And they kind of, all the different parts take, just really fill it out. It's a beautiful, beautiful song. Should have been a huge hit. Unfortunately, wasn't for them. But yeah, I don't know what more to say except that, yeah, it's just an incredibly, I absolutely love this. I did a 5-minute review recently on this album, in fact, and I usually I've never heard of this album. I've never heard this band. I'm like, I know, that's why I want to talk about them. I want more people to hear about this band. I want more people to check out this album and check out more of their albums. I think should be talked about more. I think underrated band in my opinion, underrated album. So go through. I do a top 3 favorite songs on this. It's my top 3. Number 3, I have Another Time, Another Place. Again, said absolutely love it. Number 2, Memories of You. Another song that I think should have been a hit song. It's so good. And the number 1, like I mentioned, No Fair at All. I think it's one of my favorite songs from them, and it wasn't a hit song, except for I heard the lead singer say that it was number 1 in the Philippines. So it hit number 1 in the Philippines, but that was it. So the Philippines have good music, I guess appreciation or.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, No Fair at All. If you listen to one song, listen to No Fair at All. I beg people to listen to that song. It's so good. Yeah, I love this album. I'm giving a score 10 out of 10. I think this is to me like a perfect pop album of the 60s period. One of my favorite periods of music anyway. So that's my opinion on this group. So we'll go to Nick for his opinion.
Okay, so before I give my thoughts on the album, I'll just give my thoughts on the band in general. So the first album I've heard from them was, of course, I wouldn't say big album, but this was the one where their 2 biggest hits on it, Along Comes Mary and Cherish. I thought this was a really good album. At the time, I gave this an 8 out of 10, but then I heard the second album. I kind of clumped it in with this one. I heard the third and fourth album. I own the fourth album right here, like I showed before. At a certain time, I did prefer the third and fourth album like a lot more. Like those are the albums I only listened to. But then Jason kept like really pressing on the second album. Like
kept talking about it.
I gotta listen to the second album again because there's something I gotta be missing. And not that, but Jason came to me. He was like, "You ever heard of The Association?" I'm like, Yeah, I actually have. I'm like, their albums? He's like, yeah, I know the first two. I'm like, what's your favorite of the two? He's like, Renaissance. I'm like, I gotta listen to that. And this album is incredible. Just to me, just pop perfection all the way through. I love the harmonies. I'm kind of in the same boat as Jason. I love good harmonies.
Mm-hmm.
Take the Mamas and Papas.
Yeah, it's another good one.
Take the Beatles. Take the Hollies. Queen, ABBA. Just when you have good harmonies, I'm gonna love the band. And this is no exception. I freaking love this album. Of course, it opens up with "I'm the One." I love that song. It's so weird, but I love it so much. I'm the one.
I'm the one.
Who's at the door?
At your door. Yeah, it's so good.
It's a great song to open up the album. Just the great pop record that I think Jason summed it up pretty well in his review. That's just love this album. I ranked all the songs on the album. Number 12, You Hear Me Call Your Name. Number 11, Sorry Jason, Memories of You.
Oh, okay.
I love all the songs, so it's not like the lower songs are low where it's what I prefer.
Yeah.
Number 10, Songs in the Wind. Number 9, You May Think. Number 8, All Is Mine. Number 7, Angeline. Number 6, Come to Me. My top 5, Another Time, Another Place. Freaking love that song.
Yeah.
Number 4, Looking Glass. My top 3, Pandora's Golden Heebie-Jeebies.
Heebie-jeebies.
Great song. Number 2 and number 1 to me are like some of their best songs ever. Number 2, I'm the One, and number 1, No Fair at All. I agree with Jason. This should have been a huge hit.
Awesome.
And score 10 out of 10. I'm in agreement with you. The score just kept going up and up.
Yeah, great. I got one person on my side at least, so that's good. Next, we'll go to Adam for his opinion.
Yeah, I think this album's really great. It's just the right length as well. In fact, it's not even half an hour long. It goes by very quick listening to it.
Every song is short, yeah.
Yeah. But I think I'm the One's quite an interesting way to start the album. You wouldn't think of that being an album opener. But I think it works quite well as the album opener. I think you've got some Memories of You, which is one of my favourite songs on the album. And I also really like the song Angeline as well. I think it's a very underrated song on the album. I think this whole album's very, very, very underrated.
Have you heard Association, Adam?
I never heard them before this album, no.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think the first side of the album is amazing. I think the second side really, really, really great as well. But I do prefer the first side over the second side. I wasn't too crazy on the song. You may think it was my least favorite song on the album, but I love the song, especially love the songs "Looking Glass" and, of course, "No Fair at All," which I agree should definitely be a big hit for them. And I think the album ends pretty great as well. But yeah, I think overall it's a really great album. I'll give it top 3 tracks in. And number 3 is Memories of You. And Jim Yester, so the lead vocals on that one. And number 2 is actually Angeline. I probably didn't want to go in their top 3.
Yeah.
That's by Terry Kirkman. And my favourite is also it's a Jim Yester one. Yeah, it's No Fair at All. It's gotta be. Yeah. And I give the album an 8.75.
All right, good.
I'll probably listening to it. It'll probably get 9 or 9.25.
Yeah. It definitely goes up the more I listen to it, to be honest.
Yeah, when I first heard the album, I'm like, okay, this is fairly good. I'm giving it an 8. But then when I heard it more times, I gave it a 9. Then I went to 9.5, and now it's to that awesome 10 range.
Yeah, me too. Kind of goes up every time I listen to it. All right, now we got Bryer. Give your opinion.
All right, my arm's tired now holding this CD up.
I know.
Anyhow, because it's not a jewel case, so it can't stand up. So, yeah. Anyhow, so I actually have heard of the association. The first time I actually heard of them was the channel Pop Goes to 60s. He actually does a whole
Yeah.
mini series on them. So that's kind of where I first knew of them. But then he always plays like snippets of some songs in each episode. So I got a taste on what they sounded like. But it took me a while for me to actually get it, to actually like sit down and listen to it. I actually went ahead and I of course bought this 5-in-1 collection with their first 5 albums with it. So other than that, I, by the way, I've only listened to the first 2 albums so far. I still haven't listened to the other 3 yet, but
Okay.
based on what I've heard so far, very enjoyable. Very nice sound, very pleasant sounding. And this album, of the 2 albums I've heard, the debut and this, I definitely say this is definitely a better album as a whole.
Okay.
Definitely nice progression. So yeah, I'll try to make it quick, but starts out with "I'm the One." I think musically it definitely sets the tone really well. Although I will say, yeah, I wasn't that into the vocals, honestly. Kind of, yeah, wasn't quite digging the delivery on that.
Oh, singer.
Kind of, I don't know, kind of feels a bit kind of corny,
Yeah.
I would say.
Okay.
But musically it's fine. I didn't hate it. But then it gets better. "Memories of You," I think that was a nice song. I think the chorus is really good. Nice flute. There's some nice flute on this one. You don't hear the flute that often, but when it does hit, it's like, oh, that's a nice touch. I like that one.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good. "All Is Mine," but that was good too. Bit plain, didn't really stick with me. "Pandora's Golden Heebie-Jeebies," that was a pretty. I kind of like that one. That was a pretty
Love that name.
fun one. "Angeline," it's pretty good. Has more lower vocals on here. Like the vibe of it. "Songs in the Winds," nice piano and bass, and some horns as well. Solid track. You may think, I agree with Adam. That was another song that didn't really stick with me. That was kind of an okay track. I really like "Looking Glass." I really like the melody of that one. Good guitar melody, good vibes, nice harmony, horns, guitar solo even too. Didn't think I would hear a
Okay.
guitar solo on this album. Yeah, "Come to Me," again, it was kind of okay. Didn't really blow me away or anything. Now we get to "No Fair at All," and I'm gonna be in agreement. That's probably the song that I was like, okay, that was great. That was a good one.
Yes. Yes.
I think of all the songs, that's probably the song I'll go back to the most.
Okay.
Definitely has
Yeah,
a ballad
I-
feel, which of course I'm a sucker for. So there it is. I love the. I mean, that has like the best melody. I think that's like where the harmonies are at their strongest is in that particular track. And then again, the flute solo, again, beautiful. Really
love
beautiful
it.
song. Yeah. "Hear Me Call Your Name," kind of one of the more faster tracks. I will say I'm not really digging their more faster songs. I think they're fine, but again, I kind of like their more like chiller, more ballady, chill songs, I would say. But the album does close on a good note. I think "Another Time, Another Place" is a nice closing song. Has a nice groove to it, which is pretty good. So I'll give my top 5 for this. So number 5, I have "Angeline." Number 4, "Memories of You." Number 3, "Pandora's Golden Heebie-Jeebies." Number
Nice.
2, "Looking Glass."
Okay. Cool.
And number 1, yep, it's a 4-way tie. "No Fair at All."
Yay.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay, in terms of a rating, as of now, I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10. Again, very enjoyable, but there's definitely songs that I think are better than others. There's some songs that are like, they're fine. But overall, very enjoyable. Yeah, this is a nice, pleasant experience.
hey, that was the score I
Finally
gave
rest
it
my arm.
originally. So yeah, like I said, that was the rating I gave it originally. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, that's a song.
Yeah.
the average is a 9 out of 10, by the way.
9. Okay. That's good. 9 out of 10.
Number 9.
Number 9. Yeah.
Fine.
Greatest number of all time.
Yes.
Um, All right, so for the next album, we're going to go to Nick to introduce what album did you bring to the exchange and why did you bring it?
Well, if you look at the name right there, I brought Sleepwalker by the Kinks. Yeah.
There it is.
Got a Kinks album in. Most people, when they think Kinks albums, they think Arthur or Village Green or even Lola versus Power Man and the Money Go Round. Part 1.
Where's
But
part 2?
There's no part 2?
I don't know.
Waiting for part 2.
Part 2 is the friends we made along the way. Bryer shaking his head. He's like, stop that. Oh my gosh. But I brought this along because, for one, this is just a really underrated album. Like, most people think late 60s, early 70s Kinks. Of course, after that, they go through this weird experimentation with the theatrical period. This is the first album outside of that theatrical period, and it is an amazing album. I'd say me and Jason reviewing that album and revisiting that album for that review made me realize, man, this is just an amazing album. We start the album off with Life on the Road, which sets the mood perfectly. It's like, oh my God, finally we're back to just great Kinks music now. After Preservation's Act 1 and especially Act 2. Oh my freaking God, that was bad. And soap opera, and I like Schoolboys in Disgrace, but after listening to this, I'm like, oh my God, this is way better than that. Mr. Big Man and Sleepwalker, those are two great songs after that. I mean, of course, great, the title track. I really like Brother. Jukebox music is amazing. Sleepless Night, great. Stormy Sky, Full Moon, and Life Goes On. It's an album that keeps on giving for me. This is an album that I've enjoyed from first listen, and now that I've been listening to this album more, it keeps getting better. Now for my song ranking: number 9, Brother; number 8, Stormy Sky; number 7, Full Moon; number 6, Mr. Big Man; number 5, Sleepless Night; number 4, Life Goes On. For my top 3, number 3, Jukebox Music; number 2, Life on the Road; and number 1, the title track. And this is another album I'm giving a 10 out of 10. It's just, to me, an album that keeps on giving.
Yeah, so I'll give my thoughts on the album. This is one of the albums on the list that I listened to recently because me and Nick reviewing all the Kinks albums. And so we reviewed this one this last month, I guess. I don't know. Reviewing that for the first time. Of course, I had no idea anything about Sleepwalker. Like he said, you only really know about like Village Green Preservation Society or the ones that are talked about. And then you get to Sleepwalker, and this is like the next period in the revival period in there. After that really somewhat disastrous theatrical period, you get through that, and you're like, oh my gosh, what are the Kinks doing? And then you get to this one, and you're like, holy cow, they're putting together another amazing album. So much later after their kind of prime period, kind of that you mostly know them for. And they put together one of the best rock albums, in my opinion, in this one. I was so pleasantly surprised how much I really liked this record when I got to it. I wasn't expecting anything out of it. And it's just, like I said, the rock riffs are really good. Dave Davis does an amazing job. I think it's probably his best guitar work. And he's a really good guitar player. Even this last couple of albums, I've given pretty good scores on that we've done. And Dave Davis always amazes me. No one talks about him as a guitar player. And he puts together some really good guitar riffs on this album, some really good guitar solos as well. Just really great stuff. It's got a lot of catchy songs on it. Mostly, like I said, a lot of good rock stuff, a lot of good rock riffs. And but then he throws in like a ballad like Brother. I really like Brother. It's a really good ballad on the album. And then he's got some good pop stuff like Stormy Sky and Life Goes On. I think is really good, catchy pop music. So you get a little bit of everything: rock, pop, a ballad in here as well. And I agree, Sleepwalker, it's the catchiest song, one of the catchiest songs they've ever done. That Sleepwalker, Night Stalker. Like, I don't know. Every time I hear it, man, it gets in my head. Like that whole chorus is so good. Even the verses though are so good. It's one of the best songs that they've done, I think. Like I said, jukebox music. I was just listening to this last night. Man, that is a really good rock song. I was like, wow, this is so good. And it's not even my top 3, and it is a really good rock song. It's definitely my top 5 as well. Anyways, and yeah, most everything else is pretty good overall. Yeah, definitely one to check out from the Kinks. That it's an underrated album, I think, for them. So my top 3, number 3, I'm going with Stormy Sky. I love that chorus. That chorus is so good. Something's above a stormy skies. Great chorus. Some even good harmonies there. Really good pop song. Number 2, I went with Sleepwalker. Man, I don't know. It's crazy that that's not in my number 1. It's such a good song. It's such a catchy rock tune. Really good rock song. One of their best. But number 1 for me is Life Goes On. It is a great pop song. Another one. I just love the life goes on and on and on. And it's kind of this, bad stuff happens, but life goes on kind of attitude. Man, it's just one of my favorite pop songs from them. Yeah, and I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. This is my favorite Kinks album so far. And I only have like 3 more albums to review, I think, with Nick. So most likely this probably would be my favorite Kinks album at the end, which is probably going to be shocking to people because people are going to be like, what? Preservation Great Society, Arthur, yeah, Lola, like these are considered the great, and those are good albums. But I don't know, for me, this was just the perfect like rock pop album that they've ever produced. And I even heard it last night and I'm still like, man, this is such a great album. It's the only one I've given a 10 out of 10 in their discography. So definitely one to check out. All right. Next, we'll go to Adam for your opinion.
Mom. Oh, what about? What?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
I don't know what happened then.
I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I really don't know what happened then.
Okay.
Adam, I can hear you.
I think I'm getting internet problems now.
No.
I mean, I don't know what happened then.
All right, Adam, your opinion on Sleepwalker.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic Kinks album. It was only when I first heard it, I'd only heard the Kinks debut, and that was the only Kinks studio album I'd heard.
That's that's a bad album. That's like, to me, the bad album. Not a bad album.
I really like
bad albums only know.
No idea it's good. Yeah, I think the album's fantastic. I'm surprised it wasn't a bigger album for them. It felt so fantastic, like in a row. It's really catchy. Another song, Brother, as well. I think that's a really great song. Yeah,
You're muted.
You're muted, Adam. Nope.
Oh, he's out.
Oh man. Gosh. So start with Bryer, goes to Adam, then I'll hit Nick and me next, I guess.
All right.
All right. Why don't we go to Bryer?
This will go. Yeah. All right. So of course, I mean, I know a good amount of the Kinks. Like, of course, I know the big albums. Of course, I have most of the big albums pretty much. I have Village Green. I have Lola. I have Something Else. And I have Arthur. So the big 4, basically. So this was purely a blind spot. I knew nothing of this album until you started talking about it on Nick's channel. So overall, I was pretty impressed. It pretty surprised me how much I liked it. I liked it. So yeah, I guess we'll quickly go through the track. Oh, Alan's back. Should I continue or have Adam go again?
Can you hear us, Adam?
I can't hear any of you.
Can't hear me?
Adam, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't hear you guys.
Can't hear me? Oh no.
Adam, can you hear me?
Oh,
Can you hear me?
Just
Okay.
I'll be back in a minute.
Okay.
How can he be saved?
You doing the doing the Who, Tom. All right. I guess we'll go back to Bryer.
This is back to me. Okay, so onto the onto the songs themselves. Life on the Road, very nice opening track. Nice organ intro to start us off, but then switches to a more rock sound. Yeah, musically very well done. Good bass playing, good vocals, guitars throughout, very strong. It has a good
I
energy.
can hear you guys now.
All right. All right. We'll just continue with Bryer and then go back to Adam, I think.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So yeah, anyway, Life on the Road, good opening song. Mr. Big Man, nice follow-up song, nice keyboard melody just in the beginning, and again, great bass playing. I think the bass playing is definitely one of the best I've heard from the Kinks thus far. Again, great guitars and bass and drumming, and nice how they switch it up different tempos. Sleepwalker, yeah, I agree. That's probably one of the catchiest choruses on the album. Just another really good rock song here. Brother, kind of one of the more slower songs, but still very nice. Nice piano playing, good drums and guitars, and a bit of a vibraphone was a nice touch as well. Jukebox music. It's got a good bounce to it. Nice keyboard playing. Overall, it's a very fun song. I do think it goes on a bit too long. Maybe could shave about 30 seconds off. But still, fun song. Sleepless Night. Good, got a good groove. Nice keyboards on this. So that's very nice. Stormy Sky. Another great keyboard melody. And overall, just a good vibe overall. And even great vocals towards the end. I think the vocals really shined a lot towards the end of that song. Full Moon, probably my least favorite. Probably the song that stood out the least. But still has a nice chill vibe, which I dig. And then it closes out with Life Goes On. Yep, that's definitely a really great closing song. Like the acoustic guitar intro. But then you hear some shakers, and then you have this keyboard riff that goes on. And yeah, just more positive vibes you get from this one. And the band just doing a great job on this one. Just overall, just ends the album really great. So on to my top 5. Number 5, I have Stormy Sky. Number 4, Mr. Big Man. Number 3, Life on the Road. Number 2, Sleepwalker. And number 1, Life Goes On.
Oh, wow. So you agree with me.
So yeah. Yeah,
Wow,
same with Jason.
I didn't think I was going to be in the
In terms of-
minority.
yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I just really like the vibe of that one. In terms of rating, I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. Overall,
Nice.
a very enjoyable album. I think it's pretty
Yeah.
good. I can definitely see why. I definitely can see it. People calling it underrated because I think there's a lot of strong material on here. So overall, very enjoyable stuff. 9 out of 10.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, Bryer.
Yeah, me too. All right, Adam, you can continue on your review of Sleepwalker.
I'll just briefly give my thoughts. Yeah, I think the album's fantastic from start to finish. There's only 9 tracks, but it's definitely quality over quantity on this album. Yeah, I think it's fantastic. When my number 3 is the first track on the album, Life on the Road. I'm surprised it wasn't a hit for them.
Yeah.
But my number 2 is Stormy Sky. I think we've all got that as one of our favourites.
Awesome. Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
My favourite song, which is actually Nick's least favourite song on the album,
Oh,
that's Brother. Brother's my favourite on the album.
Yeah. That's a good song.
Mm.
I was gonna give this album a 9.5, but because of that creepy album cover, it's a 6. No, it's a 9.5 out of 10.
9.5. Awesome.
I will admit that the album cover is very creepy. I'll admit.
Yeah.
If we're rating the albums on album cover, I'd say Bryers and Adams are the clear winners.
Yeah.
The average. The average.
So plain. It's just a plain cover.
Mhm. The average of the album is a 9.5 out of 10.
Oh wow,
Nice.
that's good. We all enjoyed that one quite a bit too. Then, all right, Adam, what album did you bring, and why did you bring it?
I've got the album behind me. It's by a band called Lindisfarne, and it's the second studio album, released in 1971, and that is Fog in the Time. It's probably their most successful studio album.
Okay.
So I think they were quite big in the early 70s. But they're quite an underrated band on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
But the album starts off fantastic with Meeting Me on the Corner, which is one of their biggest songs. And also All Right the Night is also one of their biggest songs too. I really enjoy this song, Uncle Sam. It's not one of my favourites on the album, but I still really like it. I think you got the song Together Forever. I think a very underrated song. I think you got the song January Song, which is one of my favourite Lindisfarne songs. At the second half, you got Peter Brophy, Don't Care. I think that one's really good. I think City Song is quite underrated. Also, the song Passing Ghosts. I think Train in G Major is great, but it's probably my least favourite song on the album. And then you end with the title track, Fog in the Time. They're probably the most catchy song they've ever done.
Yeah.
It even gets played in football stadiums.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's got quite funny lyrics on that one. It mentions sausage rolls at some point.
Uh-huh.
I thought there were some lyrics that I was like, what did he just say?
Yeah, I think it's in Wee Wee.
Yeah, I knew I wasn't crazy when I heard that.
Yeah, he did say that. But this is another album it's quite a short album. When you go on Spotify, there's 12 tracks, but the final 2 are bonus tracks.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, CD's the same thing. Has 2 bonus tracks.
Those 10 songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
But I give the album a 9.75. It's my favorite Lindisfarne album, but I recommend the debut album as well. But my number 3 is probably the biggest songs on the album. But I didn't include Fog on the Time though, so that's one of my biggest songs, of course. But my number 3 is All Right on the Night. My number 2 is Meet Me on the Corner, and my favorite song is January Song.
Okay.
Yeah, Lindisfarne. I don't know if that's more of an English band because I've never really heard of them, except I think I've heard you talk about them, Adam.
Yeah, they live very near where I live.
Yeah, I know you've talked about them before on your channel. So it's interesting. I don't know, in America, we don't really get that band.
Yeah, they're not well known in America at all, really.
That's what I thought. That's cool that you brought them here because that's definitely a new one to the 3 of us Americans. I'm guessing. Or like Lindisfarne, who's that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've never heard of Lindisfarne. Never heard of Fog on the Tyne, of course. I love the title, though. It's very English to me.
Yeah, it's very English.
Fog on the Tyne. I don't know. Here in English version.
The Tyne, it's named after the Tyne Bridge.
Tyne Bridge. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I would describe them. To me, I describe them as folk country. I don't know if
I guess that's a good way
they have
to
this
describe them.
very folk and country feel to them, which I kind of think about like John Denver, one of my favorite artists, has a folk country feel to it. So I do love the overall feel of the album, the folky countryish feel to it. I actually quite enjoy here. I don't know if we get any banjos, but I feel like we get maybe some mandolin on some songs. We get maybe violins or fiddles on some songs or something. I don't know. It definitely has that really good country feel to it. I finally got some people on here. Hey, Lewis. What's up, Jason? Doing good? Yep. And then, of course, the one, Mike.
It's not a live stream until Mike's on.
I know Mike. Yeah, I usually don't have one without
Mhm.
Mike coming on, which is always nice. I wonder how many albums are mentioned where I like the band. I don't know if you know any of these, Mike.
Probably none.
I doubt you're into, I don't know, the Kinks. It's funny. I talked to Mike about the great English bands, and he's like, I don't care about them. And I'm like going through like the Beatles. He doesn't care. The Who doesn't care. Led Zeppelin or something. I'm like, these are your bands, Mike. This is the English bands.
What about Queen though?
Queen.
I hope he likes Queen.
Hey, Bryer, I got a seventh cat.
He's on thin ice if he says no.
Bryer, we got a seventh cat, as you can see.
The seventh. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
cat number 7.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, overall, yeah, I like this album. I think there's some pretty catchy songs here. Overall, I think there's some really good harmonies as well through the album. So I think it has overall a pretty good vibe. Like I agree, Meet Me on the Corner was a good opener to the song. I quite enjoyed that. It sounds like that's a hit song. I even put down All Right on the Night. I thought was pretty good. Together Forever. January song, I agree, I thought vocally and like even just the overall melody of the song was really good. Really enjoyed that. I really like Peter Brophy Don't Care. Just that chorus. He don't care or whatever, how they said that. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
really into that chorus on that one. City Song I also quite liked. Passing Ghosts. And I guess I don't know anything about I whatever was on Spotify, what I put down for the album. So Fog on the Tyne, you said, was that not one of the songs?
Yeah, that's the album closer.
Okay. Because I really like Fog on the Tyne. I thought that was definitely one of the catchier songs. It has some interesting instruments in it. There's like some kind of like, I don't know what it was. Like
I'm not sure what it is.
They're hitting something and it's going bong. It's making this really cool noise. And I'm like, oh, what was that? Like, that was different. So yeah, a lot of songs I actually quite enjoyed on here, I would say. So for my top three, I go for January Song, which you had number 1. I guess that was one of their big songs. I agree. I thought that was an enjoyable song. Number 2, I go with Peter Brophy Don't Care. I just really love that chorus. It really stood out to me. And number 1, I put Fog on the Tyne. I thought that was definitely my favorite song. It's very catchy. Love the instrumentation on it. It was very enjoyable. Overall, I'm going to go with an 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was a really solid album. Interested to hear more about Lindisfarne, I guess. If they have a similar feel on a lot of their other albums, I guess it might be a band I need to go into their discography. Yeah.
Not all their albums are available on Spotify, though.
Oh, okay. They're not as available.
Yeah, it sucks.
A little more. Yeah, I hate that. But all right. Now we go to Nick. Your opinion on Fog on the Tyne.
Okay, Fog on the Tyne. Well, I just found out that the last 2 songs, Scotch Mist and No Time to Lose, weren't on the album. Those are my second and third favorite songs on the album.
Oh,
No way.
That's a shame. I love those songs, but oh man, it is what it is. Nothing I could do about it. This is a really good album. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I like the vibe of it. I agree with Jason. It has like an early John Denver album feel, which really good. I think that makes for a really good album. I really liked Meet Me on the Corner. Now by default it's in my top 5 because the other 2 songs weren't on here. All Right on the Night, that made my top 5 as well. Really good song. Uncle Sam, another really good song on the album. Together Forever, just another really good song. That's my second favorite on the album. January Song, it's my least favorite song on the album. I don't think it's as strong. Same with Peter Brophy Don't Care. That's another song I'm not as into. It's really good, but it's not as strong as the other songs. City Song I really enjoyed. Passing Ghost is another song I don't think is quite as strong as the others. Train in G major is really good. And Fog on the Tin, I agree, Jason. This is the best song on the album. This song definitely grabbed me when I first heard it on my own before this exchange. As for the songs that are ranked, number 10, January Song. Number 9, Peter Brophy, Don't Care. Number 8, Passing Ghost. Number 7, Uncle Sam. Number 6, Train in G minor. Number 5, All Right on the Night. Number 4, Meet Me on the Corner. Number 3, City Song. Number 2, Together Forever. Number 1, Fog on the Tyne. As for my score, I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10.
Ah, good.
Nice.
All right, Bryer, your opinion on Fog on the Tyne?
Okay. So my thoughts on this one. Overall, very enjoyable. I quite liked it. Again, I had never heard of this band prior. This was completely new. And I bought it anyway. So anyway, there you go. But
That's
anyhow, so let's get into the songs here. There we go. Meet Me on the Corner. I agree. That was a nice opening song. Sets the tone very nicely. Got good country focused sound, which is very nice. Good harmonica playing throughout this album. Good feel. And overall, the vocals were pretty solid. I think the vocals were pretty solid. All Right on the Night, it's pretty good. Some good bass playing. I think the bass playing throughout this. Uncle Sam, another pretty nice song when that came in. Together Forever, getting back to the more country-ish vibes. Has a nice groove to it. Pretty memorable. January Song, good slower track. I like the mandolin on this one. And it sounds like a little smidge of a keyboard. A little smidge. I don't know if it is. I don't think so, but it sounds like it. But I like the harmonies at the end too. Then Peter Brophy, Don't Care. That was okay. Wasn't one of my favorites, but that was fine. City Song, good vibes. Like there's a bit more electric guitar on it. And again, you have nice bass and mandolin. Again, Passing Ghost, another pretty good song. I like the third part the most. Train in G major, probably the most bluesy. It sounds like the most bluesy song on here.
Mm-hmm.
And it was okay. Probably my least favorite on the album. And that's really good. Yes, I thought that was a really great way to close the album. Love the vibe of it. Good bass and guitars, and pretty catchy, despite those very questionable lyrics.
Yeah.
But other than that, very good stuff here. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, on to my top 5. Number 5, I have January Song. Number 4, Meet Me on the Corner. Number 3, Together Forever. Number 2, All Right on the Night. And number 1, the title track. So there we go. That's the top 5.
What was your number
In
one?
terms of a rating,
Mine was January Song.
Okay, so 3 Fog for the Tyne, 1 January. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't feel as bad for being in the minority for Sleepwalker now.
yeah. But in terms of a rating, I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. Again, like I said, very enjoyable. Is this the type of music I go for often? No. But if I'm in the right mood, then it'll fit. It'll fit the vibe that I'm in. Something chill. If I want to play something a bit more chill, more laid back, this is probably something I'll go for. But overall, 8 out of 10.
Nice. Well, I averaged scores. It is a 9 out of 10.
Another 9. All right.
Another 9.
All right, we're doing good. Luckily, we haven't put an album out that everybody's like, this is trash.
I'm going to try to make an album that's going to be accessible for all 4 of us. I'm not going to be like,
Yeah, me too.
okay, guys, my next album exchange is Foxtrot by Genesis, because I know I don't want didn't want to be like, oh, what is this? I'll try to be as accessible as possible.
All right. So this is what Mike thinks of Queen, Bryer. They're okay.
Oh no. Just okay.
Just okay.
They're like one of the great. They're like the second best band of all time for me.
They're not. It's not a negative response, but maybe not the response you wanted, Bryer. But it could be worse.
Oh yeah, mine was like, oh I only heard 2 songs by the new one. I hated both of them.
Yeah, that's right.
That broke my heart.
I know. Oh, believe me. His take on the Beatles, yeah, it's like, oh no. What other band singers are mentioned? Well, on this exchange, I had Association, which is an American band in the '60s. Then Nick mentioned the Kinks, which is an English band, another great English band for you, Mike. And then we got Lindisfarne, which is an English band. So see if you've heard of any of them, Mike, and tell me if you know anything about those.
It would be a surprise if like Mike's like Lindisfarne's the greatest band of all time.
Yeah. Maybe it's more your. Mike says he likes country, so maybe it's more your alley. I don't know. Let's see what he says here. Put it this way: out of the British bands mentioned, I'd rather listen to Queen. Okay. It's a victory, I guess.
What Brier's like, I'll spare you for now.
Like, yeah, I let it slide, but I'm definitely gonna keep an eye on you.
Keep an eye on you. It's like someone says.
All right.
It's like if someone would say, like, "Oh, Queen, they don't suck." You'd be like, "I guess that's a compliment, but not a good one." Like,
yeah, yeah. Anyway,
I guess he knows
that off.
Shake that off. Shake it off. Shake it off. See, I used to work in music. Okay. There you go.
Yeah. That's cool.
All right, for our last album, Bryer, what did you bring and why did you bring it?
Okay, so this is actually probably the most modern album here because this actually came out last year. So the album's called Everything Harmony by the band The Lemon Twigs. So very new band I found out not that long ago. And basically I found them. I first heard of them because there was kind of a period a couple months ago where it felt like everybody was talking about them, like lot of music channels were saying like how good their stuff is, and of course that piqued my interest, and I decided to just go for it. And I bought this album, and I bought their latest album that they released just a couple months ago, actually. So they're still putting out stuff here. So it mainly consists of 2 brothers. So you have Brian and Michael. I'm gonna butcher their last names. Adero, something like that. I don't know. But it's 2 brothers. They're from New York, and they've been putting out music since 2016. That's when they released their first album. And this album in particular is their 4th studio album. So yeah, they kind of started out as more like your typical like indie rock sort of sound. Can't really just hard to describe, but definitely more of an indie rock sound. But by the time we get to this album, they began writing more songs, and they started to take on more different influences. And there's a ton of influences on here. There's the Beatles, of course, a bit of the Beach Boys, Simon and Garfunkel, some like 60s Bee Gees, and the Byrds, of course, James Taylor. Like they decided to bring all this influence in and try it and kind of have their own take on it. And for the most part, it actually did really well. Got a lot of good reviews when it came out. So yeah, this is kind of like a good mix of power pop, baroque pop, jangle pop, soft rock. And I was very impressed when I first heard this. I didn't know what to expect, but after listening to it, I was definitely like, okay, there's some good stuff here. Of course, it's mainly the two brothers who do most of the instrumentation on here. They play multiple instruments on here. Of course, they have some guests here and there, but some session guys. But for the most part, it was mostly them. There's 13 songs. There's quite a bit of songs here, so I'm not going to go through all of them here. But it starts off really good with When Winter Comes Around. I think that sets the tone just right. You have some nice acoustic guitars, and the harmony between the two brothers is pretty good. And I like how in the second half the drums really come in, has a big sound to it, kind of wakes you up, and you have some good organ underneath. But yeah, other than that, great opening song. In my head, definitely the song where you can definitely hear like that Beatles, Birds influence on here. Mainly in the guitars, has that jangle sound. I want to say they're using a 12 string, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely a good one. Nice drumming, good harmonies, good vibes. Corner of My Eye, more chiller song. In terms of the vocals, it definitely has some kind of like a Brian Wilson sort of feel. That's pretty good. Any Time of Day. Yeah, that's another song that kind of has a sort of like post Beach Boys, post Pet Sounds era Beach Boys. It sounds like something they would kind of make around that time. Good falsetto. Just again a good feel good song that I enjoy. See, gonna skip around here. There's a lot of songs that have pretty depressing titles and pretty depressing lyrics. Like you have songs like "I Don't Belong to Me" and yeah, and "Every Day is the Worst Day of My Life."
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're kind of going more, they're kind of going more, how you say, like going more deep inside, shall we say? But I don't mind that stuff. I don't mind that stuff. That's usually up my alley. But other songs like "Born to Be Lonely," good horns out on that one, good echo on the drums. Definitely has a sort of wall of sound feel, which is kind of cool. See, the title track has a good organ intro, cool percussion, and then "New to Me" is a pretty nice way to close the album. Very nice, gentle way to close. So in terms of my top five, number 5, I have "Born to Be Lonely." Number 4, "When Winter Comes Around." Number 3, "I Don't Belong to Me." Number 2, "In My Head." And number 1, "Any Time of Day." And in terms of an album rating, I'm going to give this a 9.5 out of 10. So very impressive stuff here. And their follow-up album is also pretty solid too.
Yeah. Lemon Twigs, what a great name, by the way. I do like that name. Yeah, this interesting. I was introduced to this group by this guy who's in the chat here, which is kind of cool. Sam St. John. If you don't know, I know at least me and Adam have been friends with Sam for a while. Really incredible channel, incredible knowledge of music. Anyways, and he likes a lot of these kind of bands I don't really know much about. But he was one that really, in fact, I was on a chat with him, and he said, "Have you heard of the Lemon Twigs or something like that?" I'm like, "No," and he was like, "Oh, you should check out the Lemon Twigs." He said, "I think you would like them, knowing my sense of music, what I like in music." And so I was like, "Oh, okay." Like I'm always interested in checking something new out that I don't know anything about, And so a good recommendation from Sam. And yeah, I think because Sam thought they had kind of a 60s vibe to them, maybe, of their music, which I like a lot. And so I was like, okay. And so I'm meaning to check them out anyways. And then Bryer introduces this album from the Lemon Twigs. I'm like, perfect. I've been meaning to get into the Lemon Twigs anyways.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, great timing because he just mentioned this band just not that long ago to me. Anyway, so I've been meaning to catch more of their stuff. I think I heard a couple of their songs on YouTube. I just wanted to check them out a little bit, but I haven't heard a complete album till now. Yeah, and of course I have here because Sam just kind of was reviewing this the last album recently, and he loves the last album even more than this album. So definitely, if you like this album, I'm guessing you need to check the next album out. I don't know if you think that way too, Bryer.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I recommend it.
Sam likes this album. I think he likes the next album even more. It's like probably one of his favorite albums this year, I'm sure. So that's so cool to have Sam here, because Sam is the one person I know that's a big fan of this album and this band. He says, "Man, Ghost Run Free is my second favorite after the opener." Yes, I agree. That's a really good song. The recent record has much more of the Brian Wilson and Bird sound, more poppy. Love that. Yeah, I love the poppy sound of the Lemon Twigs.
Mm-hmm.
And
You said what's the difficulties earlier.
You're welcome, Sam.
Right now.
Glad to have you here.
If you said the difficulties earlier.
Yeah, I would say I think people would. This my first thought was I think people would refer this as power pop, though Sam I know would say it's not power
I just turned off them like
pop or whatever. But I do kind of the more upbeat songs. Man, they are catchy pop songs. They're wonderful. I really love these upbeat songs that they have here. And I even thought it was sounding 90s pop to me. At times I was like, this maybe has a 90s pop feel to it. But then I listened to it again the other day, and I kind of was like, yeah, I do see the 60s pop in there. It does definitely. And you said the Birds, I guess, Brian Wilson, interesting. I do like all that stuff, so definitely down my alley. So I definitely love the overall sound of this band. I love the vocals of whoever's singing. I don't know if there's a main singer, I'm guessing. He has a really high tenor voice. Really pretty. Like I think it's like a really.
I think they all kind of share.
They share. Okay. There's like a high tenor voice there that I really like. Like really nice sound overall. My only criticism is I think the more ballads are a little too slow at times, and I'm not as interested in the ballad type slow songs. I do love the more upbeat songs. I think are really really good on this album. And my thought was like it seems like there's a lot of heartache songs, like something.
Yeah.
They had their heart broken. Whoever's writing these songs, like they had their heart broken, and they wrote a bunch of sad songs about it.
It should be called Everything Depressing.
Yeah, because Everything Harmony has a little more of a positive feel to it. Yeah, then you get into it. Born to be Lonely. Like, oh my God, like what happened? This is how I feel after a breakup. What happens to a heart? What do you say? The worst day of my life was one of them, or something like that. I'm like, who hurt you? Who hurt you? Like this. But yeah, very enjoyable album. Really cool. Definitely want to check out the next one if it's even better than this one. Yeah. A lot of good stuff here. Number 3, my top 3. Number 3, I'm going with What Happens to a Heart. I think was a really great song. I guess I didn't even mention, like, Ghost Run Free was really good. Didn't make my top 3. Born to Be Lonely, I thought was really good too. Didn't make my top 3. But anyways, but What Happens to a Heart, really good song there. Number 2, Corner of My Eye. This song immediately, like, man, the chorus. Love this chorus. Love this overall feel. I just love that. In the corner of my eye. And they repeat that a lot during the song. Every time they go to that corner of my eye, I'm like, wow, that is a really cool chorus and really catchy and really airworm. Really stood out to me the first time I heard it. I was like, wow, I really like this song. Number 1, I totally agree with Bryer. Any Time of Day was an awesome song. That chorus, those harmonies.
Man, we've pretty much agreed on the top song on all 4.
We all agree. I think we agreed on every song. I think you're right. We have. Wow, me and Bryer, we're totally in
You guys
tune.
are on same wavelengths.
Wavelengths on these albums, I guess. Yeah, when they get to that chorus and those harmonies kick in, oh my gosh, it is one of the best choruses. Like, it really makes that song. And I'm like, this is an awesome song. Yeah, so glad I'm not the only one. Because I was like, does anybody else like the song? And so I'm like, all right, Bryer. So me and Bryer so far agree on that one, anyways. But I'm giving an overall score. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. I think it's a really good pop record. in my opinion, of just last year. I don't listen to much music of last year, so it's good to hear something that's good. It seems like most stuff is not very good nowadays, but
Yeah.
all right. Now go to Nick.
Okay. Yeah, I thought this was a really great album, actually.
Awesome.
Very, very pleasant sounding. I gotta say, I don't think if I'm going as a whole, I don't think I'm gonna say I prefer Adam and Jason's picks. But if I'm going by the best songs on the albums, I think the best songs on this album are better than the best songs on the Association album and
Wow. Yeah.
the Fog on the Tyne album, which is crazy because I'm
Cool.
more familiar with the Association album. So got to give them that. Yeah, just a lot of great songs on here. I love the vibe of it. Just a really good album. I'm gonna go straight to my ranking though. Describe the songs on there. 13. I'm gonna be honest. I think the opening song is weak when winter comes around. I think it's just an okay song. To me, it's the weakest song on the album. When I first heard the song on the album, I'm like, oh man, is this really how the album's gonna sound like? But then, of course, the rest of the album impressed me. But number 12, Any Time of the Day, it's good. It's just not one of my favorites.
Wow. Not agreement.
Number 11, Corner of My Eye, it's good. Just not one of my favorites. But then the other 10 songs is what really impressed me, especially the top 5. Number 10, What Were You Doing? Really good song. Number 9, Still It's Not Enough. Really good song. Number 8, Everything's Harmony. Really nice song. Number 7, I Don't Belong to Me. That's a really good song. Number 6, In My Head, I really liked. But the top five was what really pushed this album above for me. Number 5, Every Day is the Worst Day of My Life. That is a really good song. That song really stood out to me, even with its somewhat dark tone. Number 4, Ghost Run Free. That's a great song. Very beautiful. Number 3, What Happens to a Heart. Really good song. Number
Awesome.
2, Born to Be Lonely. I mean, oh man, it's a really good song. I love that song. And number 1, complete opposite of the opening track. I think the closing track is extremely strong. That's my favorite song on the album. This song really stood out to me. I'm like, this song is the best song out of all 4 of these albums.
Wow.
Better than Sleepwalker. I'm like, this song really shocked me with how good it was for me. It was a slower song, but really packed a punch.
It's quite funny that the first track's your least favorite and the last track's your favorite.
Yeah, I know. It just weird how that works. I mean, another good example. Well, I wouldn't say Immigrant Song's my favorite on Led Zeppelin 3, but Led Zeppelin 3 opened up strong, but then the closing track is less than.
Not good.
Yeah, we don't talk about that one.
I'm gonna give this a 9.75 out of 10.
Wow.
I just thought the strengths were just really good. Like the strengths overdid the weaker songs, but the weaker songs I'm not as into, so it just barely missed out from being a 10 for me.
All right, Adam.
I didn't like the album. I loved it.
Well, you're doing like you did the Jacob on us.
Pull that Jacob Martin.
It was an album, but I wasn't sure what to expect. I never heard of Lemon Twigs,
Yeah.
so I was going in completely blind, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. It starts off really strong with When Winter Comes, and then you got the song In My Head, which I think is also excellent. And Corner of My Eye, it's one of my favorite songs on the album. It's my favorite song on the first side. They got Any Time of Day, which, yeah, I think was really great. What were you doing? It's not one of my favorites, but I still thought it was really good. And then the first side ends with I Don't Belong to Me, which I think is really good. The second side you begin with the saddest song title, Every Day is the Worst Day of My Life. I still think it's a really good song. And then you've got the song What Happens to a Heart, another one of my favourite songs on the album. They got the song Still It's Not Enough, which, yeah, I think is excellent. I say it's Born to Be Lonely. And then Ghost Run Free is probably my favourite of the upbeat songs on the album. Then you got the title track Everything Harmony, and which is really good. Yeah, the album ends strong with new to me. But I do think maybe the album could have been shortened by a few, by maybe one or two tracks.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll get to the top 3 tracks. So my number 3 is Ghost Run 3. My number 2 is Corner of My Eye. And my favorite song on the album is What Happens to a Heart.
Okay. Good.
I'm going to give the album the same rating as Nick, 9.75.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And in fact, I saw that Lemon Twigs are touring near where I live. So
Cool.
I might see them
Oh,
in
wow.
concert.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, I did the average. Me and Breyer's pick are tied with a 9.5 out of 10.
I'd say that's the highest. Well, no, second or tied with highest.
It's tied. So
Wow, I wasn't expecting that.
Mm.
Wow.
well, there's not really much of a ranking of who's is higher than others. Adams and Jason's are tied, and then me and Breyer's is tied.
Yeah, this was a great album exchange. I would say overall pretty positive.
Yeah.
Discovered 2 new albums for me, and that was enjoyable.
I discovered 2 new artists with the Association and Lemon Twigs.
Lemon Twigs,
There
yeah.
you go.
That was cool. And we got some variety, some 60s, some 70s, some 90s, or 2020s, whatever. All that. Yeah, so Sleepwalker, 9.5 overall for the group. Everything Harmony, 9.5 overall for the group. Renaissance, a 9 in the group. And Fog in the Tying, a 9. So that's really good scores. All A plus albums. So everybody should check these albums out, in other words.
Yeah.
Renaissance Association, Sleepwalker by the Kinks, Fog in the Time by Linus Farm, and Everything Harmony by Lemon Twigs. So check those 4 albums out.
I think
Are we going to do
this might be? I think this might be the best lot of albums we chose.
I think so.
Are we going to show our next picks for?
So far, yeah.
Yeah, I've already thought of mine.
You guys have one?
It's my favorite Johnny Cash album. It's called "I Walk the Line." It's Nick's favorite as well.
No, not that album.
No, I'm joking. And it's not that one.
Oh well.
I was to say no, not Johnny's version. No.
Yeah, I think I'm a fan of that one. But I'm going to go with Bob Marley, and it's his album Exodus.
Oh, okay.
Is that his big one?
Exodus.
Yeah, that's his biggest one.
I heard that's
Okay.
Uh,
All right, Bob Marley. I not really heard much Bob.
Yeah.
That'd be new for me.
And
I'm
just
not
know the
doing
hits.
that Johnny Cash one, don't worry.
I was gonna say Nick likes Johnny Cash, but I guess not that one.
No, that's his worst album. No.
That's his worst. Okay. It's a good song though.
Not the version that's
Yeah,
on
he
that
ripped his
album.
heart out.
On that album.
I'll go last with my next pick.
All right, you got one, Bryer?
Yeah, because before I usually had those 4 that have been like in the background, but this time I'm just gonna pick one. All right, I'm just gonna go with the one that's the most. Yeah, I'll just go with this one. We'll go with more typical rock here. Of course, I think only Nick may know this album. Of course, I brought this band up a couple times. Blue Oyster Cult. This is their 1981 album, Fire of Unknown Origin.
Okay. I know. There's one I keep hearing about.
But Don't Fear the Reaper.
Don't Fear the Reaper is one people talk
Burning
about.
for You. Like Burning for You is probably the other big, it's like the big song on this album.
You're talking about the big album, the big album, the one that came before it, I believe, Agents of Fortune.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit earlier. This is a bit later.
Okay.
Fear the Weeper is the only song I know about Blue Oyster Cult. And I only know that song because of the Saturday Night Live sketch, the Need More Cowbell sketch.
Yeah.
Besides that, I really don't hear Blue Oyster Cult on the radio. That's interesting. So I don't know much about them. Yeah.
I tried not to say that during Adam's choice because that was too easy.
I've only heard 2 albums from Blue Oyster Cult. That one and Agents of Fortune. So I know at some point me and Bryer are going to do a series on that band because they're a band that I've always wanted to deep dive in because,
So is this more of a deep cut album or?
I listened to it because of the big hit on it.
This was kind of their big album.
It's a big one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. That's cool.
At least for their stature.
Yeah, because they're not like a huge band, I would say. I've heard the name, but I don't know. For me, I'm bringing this album. It is called O.
Oh,
Just the
that's
Letter
on my list of albums to listen to as well.
Oh yeah.
by
Yeah,
Dan.
keep that up for a second so I could get the right name in.
I know I
Sure,
have one
same
of their
as-
albums by
Dude.
him now.
Damian Rice. I've never heard that album or name before.
I think I have
Yeah, it
his
was on
other
my list.
album. I think 9 is what it's called.
Yeah, it's the second album, 9.
Yeah, I have it. I have 9.
Awesome. This is his first album, O.
I have not
Damon
heard that. I
Rice.
have not heard that one though. Mm-hmm.
Okay, from 2003. Really great Irish. He's from Ireland. Really great singer songwriter. So hopefully you enjoy this. But yeah, I love his music. Damon Rice. Oh, all right. So
Yeah, I heard
Nick,
the second album and I enjoyed it. It was pretty good.
album's good too.
My pick. Well, so I was gonna have us all do it here, but then I'm like, I asked Jace, but I was like, and then I asked Bryer. I had 3 picks, but then Jason picked this particular album, and Bryer picked this particular album. It was separate occasions, but I'm gonna go with Poco, picking up the pieces.
Oh, I think I've heard the album before.
I was to say Jason and Bryer picked it, and Adam heard it, so it's a good album to pick. It's from 1969. This was
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out again.
This was post Buffalo Springfield breakup. This was the band that Richie Furay joined. Of course, we all know CSMY, but I think this is an extremely underrated country rock folk album that I think all 3 of you guys should know. I know Adam knows it, but I think Bryer and Jason would really like this album. Yeah, that's my next pick. Poco, picking up the pieces.
All right. Yeah, we just got down to Buffalo Springfield, so we're kind of in the mood for more Richie.
Yeah, that was a good time that I brought it up. I'm like, we did Buffalo Springfield. We could let's listen. I brought up an option from post Buffalo Springfield. That isn't Crosby, Stills and Nash.
Yeah.
I noticed that Blue Oyster Cult album cover. That guy in the front looks like E.T.
He's onto something.
Yeah, these are 3 new albums for me, so this is good.
Yeah.
I'll cover some more.
I was checking them out.
So definitely enjoy that. Just, I guess, end this video. Just want to thank everybody watching this video. Please feel free to comment if you've heard these albums. What do you think about them? All that. We'd love to read your comments and all that. And we'll have our 4th one in probably a couple of months and review these albums. So hope everybody enjoyed this. And from all of us, Nick, Bryer, and Adam, any last words for you guys?
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the next exchange. And
All
it
right.
was great. I enjoyed this one.
All right. Great. Yeah. Appreciate you guys coming on and doing this. I enjoy this quite a bit. This is a really fun thing to do. So, yeah. So, everybody, just hope everybody has a good weekend, and we'll see you later.
Goodbye.